Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Monday, September 30th, 2024. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. The Ministry of Tourism continues to push for SVG to be a wedding destination by making it easier for visitors to get married on the island. Speaking at a recent news conference, Minister of Tourism Carl James said although they have been promoting SVG as a wedding destination, visitors found the process of getting the necessary documentations tedious. Hence, they are now looking to have the process decentralized, particularly so for the Grenadine Islands.
Luxury that we afford to visitors, and despite having the perfect destination for a wedding or a honeymoon, it was simply just challenging. And what we have done is we've gone ahead to assess how we can make it a bit more accessible for persons who are coming here for destination weddings. And we started by decentralizing some of these services. The very document that you need to pick up at the registrar and then take to the Attorney General's chambers can now be processed on Union Island at the Revenue Office, at Canawan and Beckway, and as well as Mustique. But we've taken it even a bit further. We said, well, if you're on Palm Island or PSV, or you're on an all-inclusive resort and you simply just don't want to leave the resort, why do I have to take a boat and go to Union Island or Canawan to pick up a document and get a stamp? So we simply made arrangements to move all of those the processes remotely.
The Ministry of Tourism is also inching closer to have registration being done online. This, Minister James said, could enable a couple to travel to SVG just for a wedding and a honeymoon hassle-free.
Go onto a website from their phone, their mobile device or tablet, simply log in to our gov.vc site, and where there's a special page available and accessible for persons to now access this information remotely, register for a destination wedding to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and pay for those services remotely via the World Wide Web. Get to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. By the time they get here, that information is processed. The only place they have to leave from their hotel rooms is to the wedding chapel on the beach, or if it's an all-inclusive, within the confines of the all-inclusive. So we've completely removed the process of going to a registrar or an Attorney General's chambers for a signature or a stamp, and we've completely removed, in some cases, going to a revenue office in the Grenadines. This is now accessible remotely. The payment process can take place remotely. In fact, it's one of the very first government services in St. Vincent and the Grenadines where you can actually pay for a government service online.
Meanwhile, Minister James said in 2025 his ministry will be looking to reward traveler advisors. The award, he said, will be named the Diamond Award. The award will be done as the ministry recognizes the work done by travel agents and travel advisors who help to boost arrivals to destination SVG.
We have seen from the pandemic a lot more activity is now moving back to travel agents and travel advisors in terms of bookings. We have seen a lot more. In fact, when I was at the Travel Leaders Network Summit in DC, there was one company and their revenue last year was $20 million in bringing persons to destinations across the world. 20 million. That's how big and impactful travel advisors are within the destination markets. And we intend to launch what we call the Diamond Awards for travel advisors starting next year. And why Diamond? Because there are many star awards and gold awards, but the 3 diamonds in the flag represent St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And the Diamond Award is going to be reserved for our biggest travel advisors who are able to book hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of revenue, bringing people to our destination, and we're going to reserve that for them. And we intend to launch that initiative in the coming months as well.
Rewarding travel advisors is just one of many initiatives to be rolled out by the Ministry of Tourism and the SVG Tourism Authority in the coming months. In other local news, with the shortage of fish in SVG, the Ministry of Fisheries will be introducing fish aggregating devices known as FADs to more fishermen to improve their catch. Speaking at the training for fishermen last week, project officer with the UWI Food Insecurity Project, Colville King, said that FADs are needed, which will not only help the fishermen but help to feed the nation.
So, as a central strategy to this, we, at the conceptualization stage, thought that it was important to establish fish aggregating devices. And those fish aggregating devices, of course, I don't have to preach to the converted. You all know the benefits of FADs. And that is to ensure that you have more catch for the same effort that you're making. After all, the cost of gas is very high. And to the extent that you can get better catches for the effort that you're making, it puts you in a better position to achieve the objective that we're aiming at, which is more fish for the population, as Minister mentioned earlier this morning.
$4 million has been allocated for the fishing sector under the UWI Food Insecurity Project. King said that the resources will be used to provide proper fishing gear and shortage facility for fishermen.
Things that are happening. One, as mentioned by Roxanne, we're providing you with safety gears. Of course, if you're going to catch fish, we want you to do so in the safest way. All right, and so the safety grab bag is one investment that we're providing. It's a significant cost to you, to us, but it's important that we do so. Another aspect of it has to do with how we treat with the fish once it's landed, or in fact, when you're caught. So there's also going to be investments in retrofitting boats with canopy, with ice holes and bait well, because we expect a greater level of fishing with live bait, and to bring them back at the highest possible standard. By now, you know if your fish comes in at grade B, your price is relatively low.
Training of fishermen is another key aspect that the Ministry of Fisheries is focusing on under the UWI project.
The point to it is that training, if we provide you with training in terms of how to fish at the FAD, how to treat the fish once it's landed, and how to care for yourself while at sea, it's important that you are either retrained, because I know quite a few of you may have had training already, but to position you in a way to not just to receive this training, but to receive additional training, because you would receive a certificate for level 3, a level 3 certification that positions you well to move on to level 2, and progressively we make the upgrade in various other projects. Of course, this project cannot do everything. It would do some things, and training is one such activity that you're going to be participating in here. The classroom session hopefully would not bore you too much, but soon we would move on to the actual physical, outdoors side of the training.
President of the National Fisherfolk Organization, Winsbert Harry, is satisfied with the FADS initiative, as some fishermen have already started using the devices. The NFO president would, however, like to see the FADs properly policed from the injustices from neighboring countries.
FAD, we see the opportunity and the benefit for fishing around these FADs. But what we are noticing now that we have the St. Lucian boats, them now are taking our FADs right in our waters, and we need to pay very close attention to this, because some of them I even had conflict issues with some of them. They are very aggressive, and I like to see when we put down these FADs, that we have better monitoring, better policing of these FADs, because while we are short of fish here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, these St. Lucian boats are now taking back our fish to St. Lucia, so we have to put that into consideration as well too.
FADs are floating devices with hanging nets to attract fish. The University of the West Indies Global Campus today announced the appointment of Dr. Noel McBurnett as head of the site for St. Vincent and the Grenadines effective tomorrow, Tuesday, October 1st. The news release from the Office of the PRO Vice Chancellor and Principal of the UWI Global Campus states that Dr. McBurnett of Vicentia National has had a distinguished career in the public sector, noting that prior to her appointment, she was a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture, a position she held for almost 4 years. McBurnett served as the Director of Training in the Service Commission Department, and before that as an education officer in the Ministry of Education. She also worked at the Bishop's College, Kingston as a graduate teacher, then later as the head of the language department and subsequently as deputy principal. The news release says her scholarly achievements are complemented by several prestigious scholarship awards, and that over the years she has shown a commitment to service, always putting people first, with the understanding that education is not merely an avenue for personal advancement, but also a powerful tool for empowering communities and driving regional advancements. Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal Dr. Francis Servin has expressed delight with Dr. McBurnett's national accomplishments, noting that the Global Campus in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is poised to become perhaps their foremost site, and Dr. McBurnett will become a positive exemplar in the Global Campus universities. Newly elected NDP candidate for Central Leeward, Conroy Huggins, says the constituency has been underrepresented for 2 decades and it is time for change. In an interview with SVGTV News, the educator said that since the announcement of his candidacy last month, he has been in campaign mode and is pleased with the response from the people in the constituency. The graduate teacher and the agronomist says that he has a 10-year plan for Central Leeward constituency, which focuses on the young people.
Decades, you cannot consciously look at Central Leeward and see that there were any form of significant improvement in Central Leeward, neither in infrastructure or the life of the people. And if we were to even reference the 2018 Poverty Assessment Report, which the government tried to hide and tried to discard, the facts are the facts, and the reality is the reality. That report actually stated that poverty has grown significantly in Central Leeward. I told the persons when I visited is that within the first 3 months of an NDP administration, we will resurface that entire strip of road. That is going to be my first priority for Barely, resurfacing the Botland Glass area road from Silima Shop right all the way through Botland Glass to the gas station, right up to where now they have the new Blackfish facility, which should have been completed since 2018. As a sportsman, as a sports administrator, I have already committed to the people that under an NDP administration, which is going to happen at the next elections, and Conroy Huggins as the parliamentary representative for Central Leeward, we're going to resurface all 3 playing fields immediately within our first term. We're going to resurface those playing fields. Not only that, we're going to resurface those playing fields, we are going to barricade them.
Huggins, who hails from Curtin's Barley, says that there is little being done for tourism in Central Leeward, which he plans to develop.
Things that is common for those of us from Barley and Leo is that during the holidays and on weekends, we normally do what you call beach cooks and beach lines. That is common to Barley, it is common to Leo. And people who are not a part of that history, a part of that culture, may not have an appreciation for it. So whereas we will facilitate tourism development in Central Leeward, as is happening in Bookament, should be happening in Peters Hope, but I mean, that project is totally dead, and we will look into that when I get into office. But one of the things that is going to happen with an NDP administration is that we will establish a recreational park. And when I say recreational park, I mean a proper functioning recreational park, which will also provide employment for the people of Central Leeward, right? The Mountwin Recreation and Marine Park, where we'll use that area that we call Little Bay or Small Bay. So persons will be able to use the beach, and we'll have lifeguards and all of that in place. And we'll have different areas of investment and development for the area.
Huggins, who is also known for his leadership in the church, firmly believes that there is a role for Christians in politics, noting that he had prayed about this decision to contest the upcoming general elections.
So for persons who are of the opinion that Christians should not get involved in politics, I beg to differ, because what is politics? Politics has to do with policies, right? What is the purpose of policies? To impact the lives of the people, to make the people better. Now, where did we first get policies? We have to go back in time. Genesis, Exodus. As a believer, I am of the view and of the conviction that more persons like myself need to get involved in politics.
Huggins was one of many teachers who became jobless due to the vaccine mandates imposed by the government. We will hear more on his take on the issue in a subsequent newscast. The police here are investigating the circumstances surrounding 3 homicides that occurred over the weekend in Pitibadel and Kaliakwa. In the first incident on Friday, September 27th at about 10:42 p.m., a news release from the SVG police force said that the police responded to a report of a shooting in Pitibadel and that preliminary investigations revealed that 29-year-old Stanron Stapleton, a laborer of Rosal, was approached by an unknown assailant while on the block. The assailant reportedly opened fire, causing Stapleton to flee into a nearby compound where he was shot multiple times. The district medical officer was summoned and pronounced him dead at the scene. In the second incident on Sunday, September 29th at about 2 a.m., police were alerted to another fatal shooting in Pitibadel. 37-year-old Otniel Lavia, a farmer of the North Leeward village, was found with multiple gunshot wounds. The district medical officer pronounced him dead and permission was granted for the removal of the body. The third homicide occurred in Kaliakwa today, Monday, September 30th. The SVG police forces said that the police responded to a report of a stabbing involving 2 males. The victim, identified as 34-year-old Elisha Crease, a laborer of Prospect, was transported to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The police say the suspect is in custody, assisting with the investigation. Postmortem examinations are expected to be conducted to determine the exact causes of deaths in all 3 cases. The SVG police force extends condolences to the families and friends of the deceased and urges anyone with information that may be able to assist with these investigations to come forward, pointed out that, quote, our cooperation is crucial in bringing the perpetrators to justice and ensuring the safety of the nation's citizens, residents, and visitors. In other news, the Beauty Shows Committee of the Carnival Development Corporation, the CDC, is all ready to host the 2024 Miss SVG pageants this Saturday, October 5th at Victoria Park. Chairperson of the Beauty Shows Committee, Avia Charles, said patrons can expect a quality show, noting that the host, American actress Kadeen Ellis, promises a good show to use her platform to promote SVG.
Many persons have been asking what exactly will be the benefits of having Miss Alice as a host of the pageant. It is not only beneficial for the pageant, but she has also expressed her commitment with working with the Tourism Authority to promoting St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a premier Caribbean choice or destination for visitors. So she's very committed to building our tourism brand, and whilst she is here, she will be engaged in a series of tourism-based activities, visiting certain places in St. Vincent. I know Mustique is one on the schedule of activities. She will also be going to various hotels and sites and doing a few photo shoots as well. So
Charles says patrons can expect a great show from the 6 young ladies vying for the Miss SVG title 2024, as well as the entertainment segment, which starts at 8 p.m.
This year, our guest artist promises a spectacular performance, and that is to say that Mr. Hans John, the 2024 Raga Soca Monarch, will be the featured artist at Miss SVG 2024. As it relates to the performance from the contestants, we hope to start the show exactly at 8 p.m. And I promise you that our fanfare, which is the introduction segment, is one that you do not want to miss. So it is going to be strictly entertainment, elegance, poise, and talent on October 5th at Victoria Park.
Charles is encouraging everyone to get the tickets early, as they have a limited on sale at various prices.
In training with our contestants and getting our production set up and team in full swing. Tickets are currently $70, and that is our tier 1 ticket. After those tickets are done, we move on to tier 2, which is $80, and tier 3, $100. The difference between the tiers is just basically availability. So a few persons have also been asking, what am I getting for my tier 1 ticket or my tier 2 ticket? It's just availability. Once tier 1 tickets are done, that's it. We move on to $80 and then $100 for tier 3 tickets. And we have limited tickets available in tier 1 now. There is also the VIP package, which is available at $200, and importantly, our VIP tickets are only available at 4 of our outlets, which is the Entice Bar in Victoria Park, VJ's Restaurant, Korea City Store, and Four Shells.
For 19-year-old Alvina Pinder, Miss Grenadine House, preparing for the pageant has been challenging. Pinder said although she is a shy person and has been bullied, she is determined to put her best foot forward and radiates confidence on the night of the pageant.
With all the preparations, I feel pretty confident in my preparations, really, because my routine, I've done them really well, and my walk-in gotten so much better from when I entered. It's so much better and a lot more hectic. We have our training sessions, we have our interview training sessions, our public speaking sessions, and our walk-in sessions, of course. I feel much more confident in my walk-in and a lot more in my speaking. So far, I'm pretty confident in them, yeah.
Pinder gave up her job as a customer service agent to participate in the Miss SVG pageant, but she had no regrets in doing so, as she has since been offered a job as a teacher at her alma mater, the Emmanuel High School, Mesopotamia.
Went in with a job, but I had to leave the week of the unveiling. My school visits, I went back to my school, my alma mater, and actually got a job. So because of the pageant, because I don't think if I went back there as a Miss SVG contestant, like, I would not have had that. So I went there as a contestant, and I was persuading children about the Emmanuel School and everything, and then the principal was like, "You still into art, right?" I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "We're actually looking for an art teacher." I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Okay, bring back your certificates and everything." And so I got a job because of the Miss SVG pageant.
The art lover was given the portfolio as Minister of Agriculture, and as part of her She Leads a Gecko Community Service project, she focused on harvesting hope through gardening.
Because I look at gardening and growing of plants a lot more different, and it was actually informative. I learned a lot. I learned about food preservation and how you could do it organically and grow plants organically instead of using all of these chemicals that you would have to buy from the store, when you could make them just at home and grow your plants healthy. Yeah, so I think that was really good because I have a space in my backyard I could use a garden. So I'm thinking of actually using that space and use a garden because of this community service project.
Ms. Grenadine House, who is also into cosmetology, said she would love to pursue it as a career.